Hey everybody, Justin here to continue the House of Danger. Chapter 4, The Spooky Hideout. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? After encountering dangers outside the house, facing multiple ghosts inside the house, and discovering an underground laboratory in the bottom of the house, and stumbling upon angry chimpanzees, you're ready to get some answers about this place and the nightmares that brought you here. The mysterious phone call I got this morning, you say. It was you, wasn't it? Phone call? What phone call? Wait. It couldn't have found a way to access the phone lines, could it? Professor Marsden's eyes go wide. Why is my mic pack on my stomach? And then he sees the look on your face and shakes his head. Well, that's not important right now, he says. Something about his tone leads you to suspect it is important, but you don't want to push it. If you manage to get this far, you must be quite the aspiring detective. And psychic investigator, you add. You want to tell him about the recurring nightmares that drove you to delve into this whole bizarre mystery. Nightmares, he says. Fascinating. If your dreams mean what I think they do, then I'm glad you're here. I can explain more later, but right now, getting to the neuron inhibitor mainframe is the crucial thing. It's the only way to retake the lab from my dastardly former assistant, Carol. Bum bum bum. He says the name in a hoarse whisper as if speaking aloud can summon some sort of ancient evil. Continued on 91. Together we discovered a source of technology far beyond anything this world has ever seen, but she betrayed me. She used our work to take control of chimpanzees and start counterfeiting ring with a local crime syndicate. We made scientific discoveries worthy of Einstein or Galileo, and then she just uses it all too. He trails off. I'm sorry, I've been locked in here so long that I've forgotten my manners. Now that you've freed me, I can open a secret passageway for you that will lead to the neuron inhibitor machine. Oh, it's a mouthful. It will take you through the area where our most experimental work was being conducted. Be careful, it can get dangerous in there. It's just me? Who's going? You ask with fear in your voice. Yes, he says. I'll need to monitor your progress in the operations room where I have access to the security system. Here, use this earpiece so we can communicate. Draw clue 91 to discover your goal, which is disable the neuron inhibitor machine, or mainframe. The clear glass door leads to the temporal manipulation lab. The professor continues. The frosted glass door goes to the psychic development room. The professor takes off for the operations room as the secret passage opens from the empty jail cell next door. The two glass doors are now before you. Too bad the professor didn't explain which route was the best way to get to the neuron inhibitor mainframe. Well, we're a psychic detective, so we're going to go to the psychic area, and that's 115. This room features several rows of blue metal chairs. Dome-shaped helmets attached to odd-looking devices hang above the chairs. There's also a large glass tube big enough for you to step into with a door on the side. A green button is accessible from inside the tube. You slowly realize you've seen these machines before in photos in the references book Ghosts and Ghouls, which you have on the bookshelf back home. The photos were in a chapter about how rogue parapsychologists were attempting to give ordinary people psychic abilities. If you remember correctly, the blue chairs are attached to machines intended to give the subject pyrokinesis, the ability to start fires with mind control. The large glass tubes is an energizing chamber that gives people telekinesis, the ability to move objects with one's mind. Both seem ready to go. A metal stairwell on the far side of the room leads to some sort of observation booth which overlooks the room you're in and possibly others. So I think we could do pyrokinesis. Fire seems cool, seems dangerous. Or we could do telekinesis. I think we're going to do telekinesis because it seems slightly less dangerous. And that's 106. You enter the energizing chamber and shut the door. You press the green button on the interior wall and the room goes dark while the large glass tube emits a blinding white light, forcing you to cover your eyes with your hands. Ah, no! You can feel the machine rewiring your neural pathways to activate mysterious, previously untapped portions of your brain. The pain is horrible. Part of you thinks that if you can just endure the pain a little longer, unlimited mental powers might be unlocked. Another part of you is concerned that your head might explode. Oh, how did this happen? Ah, I see, I put down twice. If you're level 4 or higher, we are not, we are level 3. Draw clue 93. But I think we're going to, so if you stay in the energizing chamber and work through the pain, yeah, no pain, no gain. We're not getting out of the chair. Sick. Telekinesis. You now have the power to move things with your mind. You think about this as you run for the observation booth. Once per challenge, I can increase the danger meter by 2 to reroll 1 die roll. So that also moves us forward on the psychic scale. And then we continue to card 99. Whew. Man, water. There's a lot of talking in this game. My mic's going, right? Yeah, good. We're good. My mic is going. Okay. The observation booth has thick windows that look down into a circular chamber where you see a human-sized chimp in a hospital gown sitting at a table. The poor animal's head is shaved and hugely swollen. Electrodes are attached to pulsing veins. The chimp is gazing intently at a small wooden boat, which is floating in midair above the table. The chimpanzee sees you, and the moment his eyes meet you, you start to black out. You break eye contact just before losing consciousness and decide you'd better exit this room quickly. Next to a fire extinguisher on the wall is a map, which gives you a quick overview of the area. We can see that there's the observation booth is next to the cryogenic labs and the supercomputer room. I like computers, so let's go talk to Mr. Supercomputer. As soon as you enter the room, the computer lights up. Present your credentials, a digital voice demands. It must be the computer. You mutter something about being the new lab assistant. I judge that to be false. You have come here seeking answers. My memory banks contain all the information you desire, but my access is forbidden. You don't see a keyboard, so apparently voice commands are the only way to interact with this thing. Unless, of course, you can beat me in the competition of my choosing, the computer continues. Be wary, human. No flesh creature has ever defeated me and my limitless mind. Yeah, we'll fight you, Mr. Computer. What do you want? A compartment opens in the computer's casing and a robotic arm extends from inside it. The computer wants to arm wrestle you. We need a 4 or higher. That's a 6. So we're going to draw clue 102. Eat it, loser. You defeat the supercomputer and gain access to its files. One is a diagram of a rod-shaped device called a quantum synthesis stabilizer. If you have clue 39... Oh, snap, we do a large metal rod. Move forward 2 spaces. Keep this item and move forward 2 spaces on the psychic scale. Guys, we're above average for psychic abilities. There are 2 doors leading out of the supercomputer room. You start to open one door and the computer shouts, "Do not attempt to enter the Armory." You start to open the other door and the computer shouts, "Do not attempt to enter the Observatory." This computer may be pushy, but it's also quite informative. So, let's get some guns at the Armory. We need a weapon. I need a weapon. You enter the Armory. The door closes behind you and then you hear it lock automatically. The room is nearly empty, and you realize with a shudder that whatever weapons are usually kept here are probably in the hands of people, or chimps, roaming the halls outside. The only thing left is a massive artillery gun on a swivel in the center of the room. There are also a bunch of lockers lining one wall if you'd like to search through them. Search the lockers if you're level Psychic 3 or higher. Snap, we are. You may add +1 in addition to any challenge booster. So let's add this. So that means on a 2 or higher we succeed. We just don't want a 1. That's a 4. We draw clue 92. You find a tech catalog with details on an object called a hypersonic isotropic resonator. So let's try that one more time. A hypersonic isotropic resonator. If you have clue 87, 61, 21, 87, sick. Move forward 2 spaces on the psychic scale. And keep this item. So we'll put these 2 together. Move this up here. There's a door here, and you can see through its window that it leads into a stairwell. Unfortunately, this door is locked. The artillery gun you found has a shell in it, though, so you'll probably blast your way through. As a matter of fact, why limit yourself? With that thing, you could probably get through the hole on the wall opposite the door, instant shortcut. I think we're going to do the stairwell, which is 108. It's too scary to make our own shortcut. That's how people die. Let me get this on camera for you a little bit better. You go up a long flight of stairs that leads to an observatory where you find Professor Marsden staring at the stars. How did you get here first, you ask? It's all my fault, he murmurs sadly, lost in thought. We reached out to the stars and they reached back. When the creature made contact, we got greedy and captured him for further study. I fear nightmares means he's sending out telepathic messages in hopes of being rescued. If you want them to end, you must set the creature free. This is why, the professor continues, we need to take back the compound from Carol, disable the neuron inhibitor mainframe controlling the chimpanzees, and free the alien ambassador. What? Carol watches over the mainframe constantly, he continues. He'll be heading into great danger. Make sure you're fully prepared before you move on. We can't be done already. We've only been playing for 11 minutes. Oh, I see. There's a hallway to the mess hall and back door that leads out of the house. So we can head to the temporal manipulation lab, the psychic development, the armory, or the observation booth. So the only one we didn't do was the temporal manipulation lab, which I think I'm okay. So we could lead the mess hall. We can go to the mess hall or the back door to the house. Let's go to the mess hall, which is 119. The mess hall is filled with long metal tables and ugly plastic chairs. Judging by the sheer volume of rotting banana peels piled into the overflowing trash cans, you'd guess that it's mostly used by chimpanzees. Chimpanzees who don't compost. The room has high ceilings, and you can see the in area on the next level with a railed balcony that overlooks the room. There might be something interesting up there, but you have to climb to find out. There's also a door that leads to the pantry, in which you see a cupboard. So we can climb to the Overlook. Yeah, we'll climb the Overlook. Need a 4 or higher. That's easy. We did roll a 4. So we go to story card 111, which is a good number. 3 ones. Good number. From here, you can see into a meeting room which is packed to the gills with super chimps. A woman in a lab coat, it must be the diabolical Carol, is operating a large console that must be part of the neuron inhibitor mainframe. It looks pretty solid, but if you're lucky, you might be able to reach it and damage it enough to free the chimps from Carol's control before anyone can stop you. There's also a staircase leading down to an aircraft hangar. You see a truck parked in front of it, but you can't be sure if anyone is guarding it. Continue on back. Oh, there's Carol. She does look evil. We're going to go to the aircraft hangar. It's much too soon to try to end this. You sneak into the hangar and discover, to great relief, that it's unoccupied. There are parts here from what might be some kind of alien aircraft, and tools lie scattered around them on the floor. From here, you can see a large egg-shaped object on the lawn outside the hangar. Okay, optional challenge. Scan the tools for something useful. If you are psychic level 4, which we barely are, you get +1. So, once again, we'll use our alien notebook. We just can't get a 2. I mean, we can't get a 1. A 2 or higher is good. So, we rolled a 1. I'm going to use my telekinesis to raise it by 2, leaving us still at 4, and we get to re-roll the die. Once again, a 2 or higher is enough, and luckily, we nailed it. So, clue 89. Ooh, a tear gas gun. You find a neato gun that fires tear gas. Neato. So that adds 2 to a green attack. So, an unmarked delivery truck is parked here if only the keys were inside. If you have clue 3, which we fucking do, the truck key right here. So we're going to discard that, and I'm going to put it back into its first pile. And we're going to go to story card 100. This is a sick-ass picture. The truck is unlocked. You slide the key into the ignition and it starts. As you pull out of the garage, you see a sliding glass door to the meeting room where Carol sits by her mainframe, along with the chip army. You take a deep breath, crack your knuckles, and step on the gas. Chimps drive out of the way as the glass shatters and you ram directly into the neuron inhibiting mainframe. Kill the intruder! In a male voice, Carol yells. 36 super intelligent chimpanzees stand up, turn to you, and yawn. They have no interest in you at all. With the neuron inhibitor mainframe wrecked and the chimp's neuron inhibitor's links severed, they're no longer forced to obey the sinister lab assistant's commands. They seem to realize at the same moment Carol does. Now there's nothing stopping the chimps from seeking their revenge. Carol bolts into the rainy night with the chimps hot on her heels. Celebrate your victory by going to story card 105. You've thwarted Carol's evil plot, freed a whole mansion full of super intelligent chimpanzees, and broken up a counterfeiting ring. On top of that, you've helped Professor Marsden win back control of his lab. Now he'll have plenty of time to consider the implications of his blind pursuit of knowledge and devote the rest of his career to making things right again. All that's left to do now is bask in your supreme triumph. You sit in Carol's chair, lean back, and put your feet on what remains of the meeting room table, confident that your job here is done. Or is it? What a plot twist. Go to story card 120. I dig. An alarm sounds and about 50 lights on the nearer inhibitor mainframe console starts blinking. Professor Marsden comes running into the room. Oh no, he mutters. That thing's probably just a malfunction, you say. I really did a number on it. You both jolt back as a strange booming voice comes from a speaker on the neuron inhibitor mainframe console. The full force of the Chrysalic Armada is upon you, it says. We demand the release of our ambassador. Although we hate violence, we will reduce your entire planet to galactic rubble if you do not obey us. Oh, fuck. The significance of this moment hits you. You've just heard the words of an actual alien life form. The professor is as pale as a ghost. Let's keep the alien, you say. Oh no, let's release the alien, you say. That's what we were planning to do anyway, right? About that, he says. It may not be so simple. Advance to chapter 5 and keep all your inventory items. We didn't even have a chance to go back. So we have one part left in this story, which is just called the invasion. Let's get this ready. Psychic scale 16. Let's do this. Let's rescue this alien that I'm going to name Gorp. Let's rescue Gorp on the next episode of Choose Your Own Adventure, starring me, Justin.